So yeah, my buddy Kid always gives us topics to talk about. So he thought, what are your top three beer can designs? Which is actually a good topic, and I had an idea of when I first got it a couple weeks ago, and now I forgot my choices.
All right, I'll go first. I'll let you think about yours because I figured you would flub on it.
Prep work.
But so I know he's saying beer can, but I'm going beer label. A lot of times the labels on the cans and the bottles can be the same. Although there are some companies that are pretty exclusive cans. So I might do more than three, but it just will cover cans and then actual other labels as well. So starting off with cans, I've talked about a couple times on this podcast, but Tired Hands, they hand make all their labels. And the thing about their labels is that their beers only stay on the shelf for, I don't know, a week before they're completely sold out, and then they're gone. So each can is almost like its own collector's item. I won't say every single can is completely unique from the others. Like a lot of their ice cream IPAs or milkshake IPAs. I keep saying fucking ice cream. Their milkshake IPAs have the same general design with different colors. But this one, as you can see, it's like a pair of hands with claws and blood coming out. It's nuts. So they're very graphic, have a lot of different things going on, and then some interesting information on the side. It's I like it more because it is unique and because they are, in a beer collector's world, collectibles. The other two I would say, if you're going strictly cans, is Neshaminy Creek always has really cool designs on their cans, and they almost only do cans, at least for the majority of their beers. They do those bigger bomber bottles, but they don't do a typical six-pack of bottles, so they're all can designed. And the third one, if you're talking only cans, that's a tough one. I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about that for a minute. But the only other two I want to mention are not just cans; they're actually only bottles I know of. Clown Shoes. That brewery makes the most decorative and impressive labels. And I'm going to show a picture. If you're watching this on the YouTube, on the bigger YouTube file, I apologize, it's not on there. But if this is the clip, you're going to see. Jim, you'll know it as soon as I show you. But they're the ones that will have like full-on drawings.
Oh yeah,
with all their stuff, and a lot of them. Some of them are.
That's a butt.
Some of them are simple, but some of them are. I'm trying to find some of the crazier ones.
Well, you can just look up Clown Shoes.
Or you can just
There's
type in
bunch of
Clown
clowns.
Shoes and just get actual, they just always have a lot going on. And, there's something about seeing a unicorn wielding, a Mjolnir replica while it's, looks like a dragon with lightning behind it. That looks pretty badass. So those labels always really, really get to me.
That basically sums up like you when you
Yes.
were like 10.
Oh, for sure. And not speaking to the beer itself, but I do like a lot of the hell is that brewery that makes Raging Bitch?
Oh,
Flying Dog?
yeah.
Yeah, Flying Dog. They have a particular artist who does their stuff, and yeah, it's very recognizable. I'll say that. So those would be my main best looking labels.
All right. I guess number 3 would be like one of the first ones I really saw as like a real more artsy kind of label look, and it's Weyerbacher's. So like Merry Monks, for example, that would be the one you can show.
That'd be my third too.
So yeah, they just put a lot of artwork and good design, good. They look like hand drawn paintings that they just kind of plaster on a label. So
Yeah.
always quality looking bottles there. Number 2, I'm gonna do Hop Suplex just because, like being a wrestling fan that I am, like it's got a lot of charm and character. It's got the little hops dressed up like Ultimate Warrior and Macho Man and shit like that. So it's goofy. The beer's okay, but it's a cool it's a label that speaks out to me.
Yeah.
Honorable mention is going to go to Keystone because it is recognizable.
Jesus
it is classic,
Christ.
and it came out before goddamn Stone Brewing. Fuck you, Grey Coke. I have to mention it every podcast.
No, that's unacceptable. He gets an extra loser brew next week or 2 weeks just for saying that.
No.
Yeah, and the last one I'll mention, Springhouse. That's the other company on top of Weyerbacher that makes very unique, recognizable. Unlike Jim, I can't really nail down just one particular can or bottle, but I love that topic, and that may...
I'm not done yet.
Oh, Christ.
That was my honorable mention. You'll be fine with my number one because it's Mad Elf. The original Mad Elf bottle.
You mean the one right over there?
Oh. Well, I'll be goddamned.
The aged, probably since 2014.
I actually have one left, too. Yep. What was it, like 14 or 15 that they changed their label?
15, yeah.
So I can't get it that well, but you have the goofy-looking elf, you
should
Charm
watch
for
a video
Days.
Of Mad Elf versus Rudolph.
Speaking of videos that need views, I'd be surprised that it's even up to 300 after all these years. But yeah, I mean, like, this was just like, this beer kind of represents for me like a change in like my beer drinking pretty much. So when, like, even when we first started the site, I was like, oh man, all these freaking craft beers, they all taste like, hops and dirt. And this was the one that I was like, and yeah, so it's just one of those beers that just opened my eyes. So I always have a soft spot for it. And I think it also stands out because of how lame the new design is. That going from like this to this.
Trogs, what?
We also discussed this before we did full-on podcasts.
Yeah, this was one of our earliest beer-centric segments, and Trogs, we've talked about this. Please go back to putting effort. I get minimalism is a thing, and some people like it. But dear God, you had some of my favorite labels. That's why I can't even name you, like Troganator and some of those other ones, the Dreamweaver. They looked awesome.
Dreamweaver now is like nothing.
Now it's just the name and like a little...
It's like, oh, it's a feather.
Yeah. Go back. Put effort. I don't know who made that decision.
Even Nugget Nectar, like the old design used to be just like, a fist with a giant ass, like...
it looked cool.
With a giant ass hop in it.
So,
and now it's just like, oh, here's a hop.
Whoever made that decision, don't be the Jim of that company.
Fire him.
Don't mess up.
All right, don't fire him, but...
You see what you just said, Jim?
Don't fire me either.
So, yeah. I will say this, interestingly enough, may be a future bracket.
Okay.
So I'll be probably doing feelers for labels that people like, and it'll definitely be, I want to just put label versus label. So we'll see what people like.